Today I'm going to hit you with a couple of very hard truths that you might not like to hear, but it's worth listening to and worth reflecting on. First and foremost, I want to apologize for the lighting situation. I live in a land of fog right now. It looks like I'm on my way to Mordor. And also, I want to give a quick update that I officially took the dive. I ordered a lapel mic so that when I'm doing these driving videos, you won't hear so much like feedback from the road or whatever. So hopefully that improves your viewing experience. Regarding the lighting though, like the important part about these videos is the words that I'm saying, not so much how I look, though I do try to be presentable. But anyway, let's talk about some hard truths in reselling and the market and in life. So the first thing that I want to mention is you will never have as much free time as you do right now for the rest of your days, barring like maybe retirement or you end up in a nursing home. But when we talk about like a mobile existence as a functional human being in the adult world, you will never be less busy than you are now. And I come to you with this. Every part of my life, I always think, oh, I just have to finish this one thing and then I'll have way more free time. Example given. When I was in high school, I was going to school, obviously. I had an after-school job when I wasn't playing sports and stuff like that. And I thought, oh man, after season or after I graduate, I'm going to have more free time. Well, then I started college. And it turns out college is a lot more work than high school was. And I was still working in addition to that. And I was busier, but I still made time to, listen to music, play guitar, ride motorcycles around, all the cool, young adult man stuff. And so I thought to myself, oh, well, once I get done with college, I'm going to be a little bit less busy because I'll just have one thing to focus on instead of college and work and then all my social relationships and stuff like that. Well, come to find out, when I graduated college, I started actually working a full-time job and supporting a household. And that took a lot more time and effort than just going to college, which took way more effort and time than just going to high school. And then I thought to myself, oh, well, once I get the hang of being an educator and I kind of get my bearings a little bit, well, that should be easier. Well, then all of a sudden I started having children and I became even busier than I was before that, right? And then we bought a house instead of just renting where we were previously. And that took a heck of a lot more work, right? And so it's oh, well, once I get the hang of being a parent and managing our time and I have these big repairs done on our house and these big renovations that we did when we first bought the place and stuff, well, surely I'll have more time after that. Well, now I own 2 businesses and I'm still working full time and I've got a wife and a house and 2 kids. And it's every stage of life comes with more output required. And so with that said, do not count on tomorrow having more free time than you do today. What you have to do is make use of the time that you have. And Catch 'em All Collectibles in a recent live stream made a pretty good point that there's a few areas of life where you can scavenge more time from. And I'll just note a couple that stood out to me. Number one being doom scrolling. That's the thing I always pick on. If you're just scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, whatever your social media poison is, well, that's a huge area that you could eliminate and free up some time right now, not tomorrow, today. Barring that, and that also ties in with TV and stuff like that. Barring that, you could also shave off some time from your hobbies. For me, I love working out. I lift weights 5 days a week. I train jiu-jitsu multiple times a week and coach classes on the weekends. So I could definitely skip some workouts and free up some time for sure. And then the third that comes to my mind is sleep. And this is the area that I'm currently sacrificing. My colleagues all wake up at X amount of time to give themselves plenty of time to get ready and head to school or whatever. Well, I'm waking up multiple hours before anybody else that I know to run Pikachu collectibles and to process orders through Geminspector. And of course, I can't do it all before school in the morning. Otherwise, I'd be waking up at 2 a.m. And I do need some sleep for my body and brain to function. That way I can provide quality services to all the people that rely on me. But with that said, there's also nights that I'm staying up later. I talked about how last year in 2025, I was putting in about 5 hours a week or 7 hours a week in Pokemon. And this year so far, I'm probably averaging more 20 hours a week. And so again, last year I thought I was busy. This year I'm busier. And so it's like, this is just the never-ending reality of life is you're never going to have more free time than you do right now. And by the time you actually get more free time, there's going to be something else that is sacrificed that incapacitates your ability to output, such as old age, right? Lack of mobility, cognitive impairment, right? By the time we as adults actually get more free time, that's going to be the case. Or there's going to be more like key family things going on, like we might have grandchildren and we don't want to sacrifice the limited time that we get with our adult children and our grandchildren. And so it's just like, don't rely on, oh, after this hurdle, I'm going to have more time to do things. That's a lie and it's untrue. So do this stuff now. The next truth is things will not ever be as easy as they are today, period. And I know that that's like a hard one to swallow because it's like, well, Drew, right now the Pokemon market's going insane. It's so hard to keep up with things. Right. But you have a good read, presumably, if you're operating as like a reseller or whatever, you're like watching prices. You have a good read on the market right now. You know what's going on because you can see it and you're living in it and you're operating within it. Therefore, you have enough knowledge to make this easy for yourself relative to where you were yesterday. And so my proposition there is things will never be as easy as they are today because there's going to be more resellers that start operating within the space. Therefore, availability of cards that you can, arbitrage is going to go down. Competition is going to go up, right? Availability of cards is going to go down. And so things right now are easier than they ever will be in the future. But Drew, PSA's slamming all my cards. Like they're giving me terrible grades. Yeah, I hear that and I feel that too. With that said, though, in 2022, everybody thought that PSA was slamming their cards and grading super hard. In 2023, everybody thought they were getting shafted by PSA. They were grading super hard. 2024, 2025, same thing was true. PSA is always dropping the hammer. PSA will never be grading as easily as they are today. Oh man, they changed the centering standards. Right. Things get harder. That's true. That's the world we're living in. Things will never be as easy as they are today. PSA will continue to grade your cards more rigidly or less consistently at the least. More people will be competing against the same things that you're trying to buy and sell. And you pair that in with the fact that you're never going to have more time compared to what you have right now. All that is to say, you can't be praying for tomorrow in hopes that you're going to have more time, that things will be easier then, because both of those things are false. You will have less time and things will be more difficult. And so you can do yourself the most service by managing your time wisely today and by operating to the maximum capacity possible today. That's tying in both of the points that I just made with those considerations in mind. Right now is the time to be figuring out your time. Like right now you have to free up free time. Don't rely on getting past a hurdle because you know that one or two more are going to pop up in its place. As I'm saying this, you're probably connecting those dots yourself too and comparing that to your own living situation. And the younger you are, the harder that is to swallow and the harder that is to actually like wrap your brain around. But I promise you, even look at your limited time in life. Back when you were like in elementary school, middle school, you had time to play video games and goof off. Maybe even in high school, you had time to do that. You don't have as much anymore because your responsibilities and what people expect from you increases. What you expect from yourself increases. The amount of gradable Sword and Shield era alt arts is going to keep going down and down and down because people keep buying them and sending them off to grade them. The amount of people entering the reselling space or the investing space or the collecting space continues to go up and up and up. And when we have a big market fall off or whatever, maybe it'll go down temporarily, but that doesn't change the fact that like the card availability situation is still going to be a thing. So even though you might catch like a short-term lick and maybe there's going to be some relief of pressure in the short term, you can bet that in the next like 5-10 years, whatever, there's probably going to be more people trickling out over the time or booming in like they are now. And the same situation is just going to keep replaying itself. So don't count on tomorrow being easier than today. You just have to use the tools that you have at your disposal to make today work for you. Because it won't be easier tomorrow, it'll be harder tomorrow. And if it's not getting harder tomorrow, frankly, that probably means you're failing at life. If suddenly you have way more free time than you did before, think about the implications of that. Like for me, what that would mean is like, oh, my wife left me, I no longer have full-time access to my kids, like something like that happening. Yeah, that'd free up a whole lot of time, but that would also destroy my soul. And so it's like, think about the implications here. Like, what actually would free up your time in a catastrophically meaningful way? Horrible things, not good things. I mean, sure, maybe like you can just hit up a streamer or whatever and you offload all your Pokemon inventory, then you can dump it all into the S&P, quit your job, blah, 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 go sip mojitos on the beach for a year. But I would propose to you that, like, hey, that's probably going to get boring too, and then you're going to want to just fill your time. And so even if your time does increase, it kind of becomes this like self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like, if you're a driven person, you're going to want to fill your time back up, and you will find a way to fill every moment of your waking time. And take into consideration just like apps and technology, it's like these companies that are running like social media platforms, video games, they're finding more and more ways to seep into our free time, and they're demanding our time. Work is going to continue demanding your time. If you work in a field that is like impacted by like AI, that's a hot button topic right now. Well, it's like you can't just get on your hands and knees and like accept that AI is going to replace your job or whatever. No, you have to dedicate more time to get more skills so that you can do a job that they can't do. And so no matter which way you skin it, you have to manage your time, and you have to utilize the information that you currently possess, because right now you're going to have the most free time ever, and right now is the easiest way to do anything possible on earth. You're never going to have less competition than you do today. You'll never have more time than you have today. So please make the minutes count. See you on the next one.